So yeah, I think there's a lot of people who have done a lot of yoga and so forth. Who, what does it add up to? Because I mean, even with the yoga path, there's a lot more. It's become very popular, the idea of mindfulness in yoga and so forth. But physical, I mean, many people know that the physical asanas are even just the lower parts, supposedly lower parts of the yoga path. And that's even only one amongst many, many potential paths that people can use to search for the meaning that they're looking for, or the significance to their life, just the reality, because that's what spirituality is. It's really just coming closer to reality. And using the great paths that have been around for thousands of years. I mean, we have a culture that literally thinks it's better than that. It's just thrown the whole thing out for extremely shallow reasons in many ways, you know. People got things wrong in the crusade, they kill each other, and there's Islamic people doing things, but that's just people getting spirituality wrong. It doesn't mean that at the center of those paths there isn't incredible value. And I think in many ways that's what is missing in individuals' lives, and it's also what's missing in collectively for the planet. The values, deep psychological values, are being thrown out. And so really what I'm here is to show people what I've discovered over 30 years of practice, which is dimensions of meaning that go way beyond the new areas that people get shunted into, which is yoga and mindfulness and so forth. The psychologists are into mindfulness, and yoga's become the new kind of belonging if you're interested in spirituality. It's almost come to define spirituality, but it's just the beginning. It's opening the body to psychic awareness and allowing the body then to have the capacity to be still to meditate. I mean, it's described like that, and it can yield tremendous results, but there's so much more. There are so many potential dimensions within Hinduism, which is far wider than the entire yogic path. The entire yogic path is only one approach to Hinduism, and then there's Buddhism. Many people have done Vipassana, but that's just Theravadan Buddhism. There's also Tibetan, which is an incredible thing to mind for metta bhavana and loving kindness, and taking that to a much higher level. And I think I can help people with that. I know I can help people with that. They just have to know I want to talk so people can get a sense that these things are even possible, because they're not being presented generally in our culture. There's this general bias against the idea of spirituality because they see the mistakes have been made in the name of spirituality. But my response to that is always, people get things wrong. They get things wrong in life. There's of 10 people who play tennis, 9 people aren't very good at it. And I don't want to sound elitist, but most people, that would be even more the case in spirituality, because when you delve into the finer aspects of meaning and psychological health, it's a very intangible realm. People get them wrong, and they don't like the fact that everybody's got an opinion on spirituality, and it all gets a bit boring, and you don't really know where you stand unless you have the particular disposition that has a very direct experience. And quite often people, they just happen to fall into one path, or they go to Vipassana, or they go to yoga, and then all of a sudden they're told that they should only do that. They're told that that's their new belonging, and they shouldn't, they'll just the traditional picture is they'll just confuse themselves if they try different things. And I don't think that's a realistic thing for this day and age. We live in an information age where we've been exposed to Buddhism, we've been exposed to New Age ideas, we've been exposed to Hinduism and chakras and asanas and everything. And there's so many people out there with this confused smattering of experiences and no real way to cross-compare these concepts and their own experience and understand them. And that's my speciality, because it's been my passion for so long, is having really looked into so many of those paths. I can reduce the confusion that people might have between their experience of being in Hinduism and their experience of emptiness in Buddhism, for instance. Or for people who are just looking for peace, they can do the simple things like mindfulness to start, and then when that just becomes like a technique to take it to the next level where it actually turns into a real path. And they don't have to look at them, and I'll clarify them, what we're calling spirituality, that word that everybody's afraid of, they don't have to look at it as spirituality. They will come to understand that spirituality is just a word for getting real, actually. That's what it really means. Getting honest, getting real. Using, as we should use, the mind of so many thousands of years of culture and wisdom. Back in the day when people weren't constantly distracted by, smartphones and the pressure to participate in the global economy, etc. There was an intuition at play. So it's so easy to throw that out as if, everything in the past was humanity in some kind of superstitious age, when really, if you begin to experience some of these things that I can kind of give people an accelerated experience of in a one-on-one environment, then they'll understand that there is so much to discover.